President.
Okay.
Thank you, President Jeff, for the warm welcome. Indeed, today is a great evening that we are going to have an idea on how Rotary Club of Nairobi Gigiri, as well as the country at large, is taking initiative to make peace with nature. And it's one of the ways of serving to change lives. Our key ambassador and torchbearer in this initiative at the country level is our own Muthoni Mahinda. She is the president-elect for Rotary Club Nairobi Gigiri, and we are proud to be associated with her. She has a very profound sense of nature, environment, and we are beneficiaries of her initiatives as a club. We've planted trees in several police stations, and even the current project of planting trees across all the police stations in Kenya, it is from her own makeshift, her own initiative, and it is set to be in motion. Muthoni Mahinda has a very rich CV. She is an online, offline branding and marketing by trade with 12 years experience at the management level. She has a passion of compelling and revealing ways in which one can understand the role of marketing and branding in every aspect of their lives, whether an individual or a corporate. She has a career that started way back in 2005. She has worked in leading advertising firms and in one of the media leading group in Kenya, call it Nation Media. She has worked for Taucan East Africa, Nation Media Group, Scan Group, and finally the advertising company. And she has accomplished a lot with a diverse and rich portfolio with incredible tasks, going forth interaction with senior executive leadership, on business development, as well as upselling to existing clients, client account management and stakeholder relationship management, people management, recruitment, training and development, branding and marketing, online, offline strategies, formulation, implementation and evaluation, identification of new opportunities through knowledge and the strength of existing clients, stakeholders, relationships, formation of effective and financially sound contractual relationships, spearheading accounting initiatives. Wow. We are proud to be associated with our guest speaker tonight, and we stand to gain and benefit from this association. Ladies and gentlemen, Rotarians, invited guests, allow me to present to you our guest speaker tonight, Muthoni Mahinda.
All right.
Thank you, Rotarian Anthony, for making me sound larger than life. Now, as I begin, I'm sure after hearing my profile, you must be wondering, how did she end up in environment? What I can say is that Rotary is a calling, and you can find yourself serving in any area, in any program at any time. So without much ado, let me share my screen so that I can share with you some of the initiatives that are being executed at the country level, trickling down to the clubs. And then lastly, I will finish with what our club is doing in partnership with 2 other clubs, namely Nairobi East and Nairobi South. Is my screen sharing? Is it visible? It should be.
Yes. Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay. All right. The environment program, country Kenya. When it comes to the program's docket, we do not have district chairs. We only have country chairs. So you will find that in every country we may have the same initiatives, but you might find that our partners and some of the activities that we're sharing out or we're encouraging clubs to take up may vary slightly. But by and large, we're pretty much the same thing, whether it is Kenya, Ethiopia, or South Sudan. So our theme for this year and for the next 10 years, we have adopted the UNEP theme of Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. This theme was launched this year on June 5th, which is World Environment Day. And if you have been following the conversations by UNEP and other global institutions and organizations, is that if we do not fix our planet in the next 10 years, then our children's children will not have a home. That is the reality in which we're living in. So under the environment initiatives, we have 3 initiatives. So the first one is afforestation and tree planting. The second we have is Adopt a River. And the third one we have is called End Plastic Soup Campaign and Waste Management. So for these 3 initiatives, each one of them has a country lead. So in the committee that I am working with, I am the chair and I have a co-chair. And my co-chair is the afforestation and tree planting lead, who is IPP Derek Kangede from RC Limuru. And then for Adopt a River, it is PDG Jotin. And for waste management and End Plastic Soup, it's a Rotarian from Kitengela. His name is Daniel Wanjoki. So in a nutshell, our ecosystems, like I said, we adopted the UNEP theme. So our ecosystems support all life on Earth. The healthier our ecosystems are, the healthier our planet will be and its people. The UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration aims to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystems on every continent and in every ocean. So when we talk about oceans, we talk about all our waterways. So oceans, lakes, rivers, all of it. It can help to end poverty, combat climate change, and prevent a mass extinction. It will only succeed if everyone plays a part. Supporting the environment is the 7th newest area of focus approved by the Rotary Foundation and trustees of Rotary International Board of Directors. This was done in the last Rotary year. It does not mean that Rotary in general has not been embarking on environment initiatives. No, they have been, but now it has been adopted because of the need and because clubs anyway have been doing something one way or the other. So it's just to come together and really just have a bigger focus and a bigger impact. When we look at it, when you look at polio, if Rotary has been able to pretty much kick out polio, what more can we do with the environment? Yeah. So to date, more than 18 million has been given in Foundation Global grants to environment-related projects in the last 5 years. Grant applications for projects are being accepted beginning 1st July of 2021, meaning a month ago. The government of Kenya, national strategies to plant 1.8 trees by 2022. So as a country, we have adopted, or rather we are aligning ourselves to what our country is doing, what our national government is doing, because this is a problem that is specific to us. So remember when I started in the beginning, I told you, in as much as the 3 countries, we have the same initiatives, you might find we may vary from place to place, and this is one of it. So it is aimed at enhancing the country's forest cover and reclaiming 5.1 million hectares of degraded landscapes. This is due to people cutting down trees for things like for building, putting up more residential areas, charcoal is a big trade, such things. So tree planting programs aim at boosting the country's forest cover from 7.2 to 10%. So as a district, we have decided that we are going to contribute to this because we know that we can. Partners. Our main partner is Kenya Forest Services, and our main areas of collaboration are enhancing the environmental conservation, education, and awareness through the school greening program. We'll be carrying out activities aimed at restoring Kenya's landscapes, seed sources, efficient seed storage, and everything else that is written there. So let me go straight into the Greening School program. In the Greening School program, there are 3 things that KFS have requested us to do. The first one that they've requested is that we plant trees in the school compound, so we can do it along the perimeter, creating a green line. So maybe that's about 50 to 100 trees, depending on the size of the school. The second thing that we have requested us to do is to start a tree nursery for the children. And the third thing is to start an environmental club for the children. So we get them while they're still young, while they're still impressionable. The whole essence of starting a tree nursery is that in the medium to long term, Rotary clubs will be able to have a source of seedlings. Next, the second initiative we have with KFS is afforestation and reforestation. So this is to restore the degraded natural forest areas aimed at improving rural livelihoods. These are on the third column, you can see the forests that they would like us to reforest and afforest. So there's Gong Hills, there's at Arabuko, Sokoke in the coast. In fact, we have a cluster of clubs from the coast that want to reforest it, and it's being spearheaded by the Rotary Club of Watamu. It's Kakamega Forest, Mau Forest, and Mount Kenya. Okay. Farmers tree planting. This third initiative is to encourage farmers to plant trees on their private land so they can do commercial tree planting to avoid people going to cut down the trees in the forest for their own economic activities. So that is what the farmers tree planting is. So you'll allow me to just gloss over it because I still have to talk about the police project. Greening Ngong project. This is a project that came to the committee from a Rotary club. And this particular one is a Green Line and Urban Forest Initiative. And we're aiming to plant 10,000 trees from the traffic police station at KNH to the junction, Ngong Road. We're restoring the tree cover that has been lost while the road was being constructed. If you've noticed, especially the Wayaki way, every time they're building a road, the temperatures have to go up. Why? Because they cut down the trees and it feels stuffy. So we have several partners who are involved. We have Vivo, the county government, Kilimani Project Foundation, Friends of Karura, and a couple of others. Where we've reached to date is that we're receiving support from these partners in different ways. So some are giving money, some are actually giving seedlings, others are giving equipment. We have one partner that is even giving us manure so that we can be able to, give the plants some extra. Yes. So green lines and urban forests, you can see the objectives there. When we talk about urban forests, it's not only, for example, like Arboretum or Karura. An urban forest can be a residential area or an estate that has space within it. So we can plant a cluster of trees so that we do what we increase the cover and all those additives that come with it. Okay. If you look at our partner Optiven Foundation, every time they're developing land, what's the first thing you see them doing? They put up trees along the perimeter. So that is part of the green lines and urban forests. Now, Dela Calexo. Now this project, this is the reason why this is the main event today. Dela Calexo tree nurseries came to the country last year, December. And we had tried to sign them on a country level MOU. But the more we looked at it, the more we realized that this was a project that was best suited for club level. The reason being that it required funds to be raised initially so that the project could be carried out. They say at the end of the day, what makes projects happen? It's not the country or the district level, it's actually clubs. So Gigiri, you have been very supportive and you've been very open-minded. Even when you were invited to go and plant trees initially, you were there. And I would like to thank IPP Fred and everyone else who was part of this, and especially also Angie for also just helping direct us. So this project aims to reforest police stations with green lines along the perimeter of police stations. It provides an extra layer of security for the police station. It provides a tranquil, well-shaded area for both police officers and the general public in a space that is often stressful with difficult situations requiring the intervention of police officers. The appeal to this project is that not too many people think about the police. Sometimes when we think about them in a negative light. So I felt I had to add that line. So Rotary Club of Nairobi Gigiri, Asante Sana again, together with Rotary Clubs of Nairobi East and Nairobi South, plan to plant 50,000 trees in 500 police stations and posts over the next 3 years. To date, the two clubs, Nairobi Gigiri and Nairobi East, have planted 800 seedlings, and they've been planted in these stations that are listed here. The first one we ever planted in was in Muthoni. Then we went to Gigiri together with Nairobi East. We did Gigiri, Runda, Parkland, Spring Valley together in Nairobi East. And then the last one that we did was Kasolongo MSC, where Nairobi East invited us. I have some pictures to show you what has been done. So this is at Muthoni Police Station. Some of you recognize yourselves here. On the person there in black, this is Amos from Nairobi East, so he was there that day. This is where the trees were being planted on the grounds of Muthoni Police Station. Here we were at Gigiri, people looking very happy. Again with Nairobi East. Kasolongo. We did a plaque. When that day that we went, because we went to 2 police stations, Nairobi East did a plaque for Kasolongo and Nairobi Gigiri did for Masi Police Station. So that's the graphic. We did not take a picture, sorry. No, I'll look for the picture. I know there's a picture somewhere. This is IPP Tom Shivo for Nairobi East. He was present that day. Now, Optiven Foundation. They joined us that day on invitation by Nairobi East, and they gave us a donation of 100,000 Kenya shillings, which is to be used, 100,000 Kenya shillings worth of seedlings to continue with the work that we're doing as the clubs in this particular project. Yes. Okay. That is what I wanted to share with the club today. A little bit more about De La Calexo tree nurseries. De La Calexo, the theme, or rather the campaign that is being done is 1 million trees with the Kenya Police. So for us as Rotary, we are going to contribute 50,000 trees towards this project. So I would like to leave this presentation at where it is today. And I would like to allow the committee that has been working on this to continue giving updates to the club and let you know what is happening in terms of the tree plantings that will be planned for in the coming future. There's one thing that I would like to make clear. This particular project is a bit unique. It's sitting under 2 directors. It's sitting under the project service director, who is PP Angie, and it's also sitting under foundation with PP Lucy. The reason is because to plant the 50,000 trees, we will be applying for a global grant to the tune of 15 million, which will require PP Lucy to guide us. And then in the interim, as we're applying and waiting for these funds to come through, we will still be doing the plantings. So this is where now Project Service Director PP Angie will guide and direct the club in that regard. So with that, I would like to finish. I invite questions, comments, all of it.
Well, thank you, P. Muthoni, for that candid presentation. Any comments or questions from the members or even the guests? And at this point, karibu sana Cliff Bakach. Maybe you could just identify yourself very quickly, Cliff.
Yeah.
Best.
Cliff Barkach. Cliff Barkach is president of Bungoma Elgon Auto Club in Bungoma County.
Thank you so much, and karibu sana.
Yes, thank you.
Take our greetings back to the guys in Western.
Thank you.
Asante. Okay, any questions, comments from the floor? Anybody who needs more clarification? And whoever's identified himself as iPhone, kindly put your name or just say hi to us so that we can know who you are as P.E. Muthoni fields the questions from the floor.
Okay, as we wait for questions, there's something I'd like to add, especially for our visiting Rotarians. For clubs that would like to take on the tree planting, we are giving seedlings to clubs. We have a partnership with Caritas Nairobi, and Caritas has a partnership with Equity Bank, which is doing 35 million trees. So they have partnered with us because Rotary has a good coverage countrywide. So if you're interested in getting seedlings for your projects, please reach out to me. I will share with you this presentation. I will share with you the project proposal form and seedling application form, and then we can take it forward from there.
Okay. Now for the clubs which are joining us today, you've heard, you have no reason for not starting your tree nurseries or your tree projects. The flow of the tree seedlings is there. So reach out to P.E. Muthoni and kickstart your tree projects also. Okay. Any comments, any questions from the floor? I know environment is usually a very dicey subject because people don't know whether it's trees, you're talking about the weather, tree growing, tree planting, all these initiatives tends to be a bit, but thank you so much for clarifying it and also for just making us zero in on what is important for us. As you started by saying, we realize is that we have a 10-year window period under the United Nations mandate. And we are happy to be at this point. I know 10 years from now, when all of us will be celebrating maybe 10 years of being in Rotary or more, it will be a good benchmark for us to know and to see what we have done, starting from this particular presentation. So thank you so much, Muthoni, for that. Let's throw some questions because it's very hard to get her being the country chair on this. And she's here. Let's ask all our questions, especially the other clubs. I can see Thika Road has joined us. Nairobi Thika Road, Molly, welcome Molly. Nairobi Celebrates, maybe any challenges or maybe questions you want to throw on the floor?
I'd also like to let Rotarians know that Rotaract is aligned to what Rotary is doing. So we're doing the same thing and they can apply for seedlings. Interact also doing it, but theirs is more specific. The campaign they're having is called Adopt a Tree. So we're all one in the same thing. There's no difference. We're all working towards the same goal.
Okay. And just a challenge to the other clubs here. I think it's a good thing you've brought about the issue of synergy. This synergy is very manifest now that we have. Sorry, you can't hear. Okay, let me move closer. Now, I was just saying it's a good thing Muthoni mentioned about the synergies taking place. We have one between, of course, this partnership between us, Nairobi East and Nairobi South. I think we have room for one or two more clubs, if I'm not wrong, P. Muthoni, for this partnership.
I leave it in the hands of foundation and service projects.
Okay, maybe.
Yes.
We stand guided. And if you remember, the amount is huge. It's 15 million Kenya shillings. And I believe once we do the clustering and we come in as a joint global grant application, our chances of success will be much, much higher. So I think my brother Cliff, maybe you can take the challenge back to Western, maybe team up with Bungoma, Kitale. You guys form a cluster and also apply for some of these funds. They're available. Yeah. Okay. If there's no more question or no more comment on the floor, I'd like to invite Rotarian, PP Lucy Munga to give a vote of thanks to our guest speaker.
President?
Yes, Rotarian Robert.
It's not a question per se, but as a member in the environmental committee, there's some activities that are to be done. So I was wondering whether this is the right time to mention that out so that members can join in. It's a question to P. Muthoni.
Yes, go ahead. It's a free forum.
Based on the timetable that you had set up, maybe it's good that we can tell the members they can join us once the timetable is finalized.
Okay, thanks, Lieutenant Robert. Okay, you preempted me. I'm doing the work of the committee chair and the directors, but it's okay, I have no problem. So this project, as like I mentioned, it's two parts. It has the global grant part and the service projects. So as we're waiting as the application is being done for the global grant, we will still be planting trees. The reason is this partner that we have, De La Calexo, who the founder is called Caleb Rudy. He has seedlings already in his nursery, and those seedlings are becoming overgrown. We cannot sit and look at them and wait until this global grant one day comes through. So activities will continue. So Robert has mentioned that there's a calendar. The proposal was we continue planting as we wait for the global grant, and we will fundraise a certain amount of money to continue the seedling production as we're waiting for this global grant to come through. So there's a calendar I know that was discussed, and I will allow the committee to get its house in order a little bit because we have other clubs that have joined in this project. So it has become quite big and it's very impressive. And I'll allow them to start giving updates and more information to the clubs about what they are doing.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Robert, we are good?
Yes, President, good.
Okay.
Richard and Christine. Is she
Yes, yes.
Would you like to talk about the proposed cookout, or am I the chicken before the egg?
It's okay. Now, the environment team, we are thinking as a way of fundraising. We have a cookout competition, where if it's between Gigiri, Nairobi East, Thika Road, we see who will come up with the best stew. If it's chicken stew, if it's mbuzi stew, it will be a cookout, and then we get a celebrity chef to be the judge of who will make the best stew. So the aim is to fundraise. We can do an auction on that day. We can also auction the best meal, and it will be a great way to bond and fundraise at the same time. Details will be shared as we move along.
Wow, I wonder why you are sitting on that amazing announcement. That is a perfect announcement at the perfect time. Anything that gets people out and people, anything that revolves food will always have a good buy-in. So, and I'm happy Nairobi Celebrate is here. I'm happy Nairobi Thika Road is here. So the ones who will be available for that, I think there's Nairobi East, there's Nairobi South. The more the merrier, we can raise more funds that way. So that's a good initiative. I think the environment team, let's run with it and we'll populate it to the other clubs. Definitely, we can get the buy-ins. Okay. So at this point, I think PP Lucy is on standby to give the vote of thanks to our guest speaker for tonight. PP Lucy.
Okay, thanks, President. And thank you so much, PE Muthoni, for that wonderful presentation. I think now everybody who has dialed in today has understood from our district level where we are starting from, and now how as a club we are plugging in ourselves to ensure that the 50,000 trees together with the Calexo and the police stations are done, and we contribute to the global menace, to stopping the global menace that is, associated with lack of trees and the global warming and so on and so forth. It's a fantastic project, and I'm happy, and definitely everybody here is excited to be enjoined in this and to make a difference in the environment agenda. So your presentation was definitely very comprehensive, and it provided the entire picture and how we come in. I do appreciate for those insights, and even how we are coming in to ensure that each one of us as a club is involved. And in fact, the part you talked about, the urban forest, where we can even plant in the backyard. We can also, sensitize our village mates wherever we come from, where our grandparents live. Let's just spread the gospel. The question perhaps for Muthoni and the team is whether those ones will count as part of the district, because it's our relatives who are going to do it. And how perhaps we'll be collecting all these numbers. Are we supposed to be sending to you, or who? Because each one of us, even if we plant in the backyard, then perhaps as part of the project, we'll definitely also add in there. But I truly appreciate that presentation. And we look forward actually to collecting everything and giving the club members more insight on this. And definitely the, Christine's initiative for raising the funds, it's fantastic. Let's start with that one and do more of that. And we invite as many clubs as possible. So thank you so much. And yeah, let's continue. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you, PP Lucy, for that good vote of thanks. And just to reiterate, in fact, just to add on what you've said, it does not matter what you do where. The most important thing is record it and send the information. Whether you go to do some tree planting in your local school, in your backyard, with a children's home next to you, whether it's a personal initiative or a club initiative, Rotary just insists, let's collect all that data, let's document it. So in our club, we have a way. We always post what we do. So let's just capture that information. There's a way to get to the country, there's a way to get to the district. Remember the last meeting when I said, if we don't have this data, this information, everything we do is more or less zero. If it's not captured at the country office, if there's no record, then it never happens. So let's start by doing what we can, where we can, and we record everything and post everything. It's also good for our publicity. And I think our PR director is here, who is going to, collect all that information and make sure it is out there. Fine, so thank you so much, PP Lucy, for that vote of thanks. We are going to move on to the SAA moment. Incidentally, for the rest of the members, today's fellowship was unique. Everything was run by the Environment Committee. The grace, the toast, the 4-way test, the vote of thanks, the guest introduction. It was an Environment Committee takeover, and we are very grateful for that initiative. I think next week we should challenge PR to run the program or any other committee. So our SAA session today will be done by none other than our IPP, IPP Fred. Karibu sana. Today you've exchanged roles with the Rotarian Anthony, but I'm sure you'll be up to it. Karibu sana, IPP Fred.
Asante, asante. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Be here. Thank you, Prezo. That was an exciting session. So my role today is that of SAA. I have a small SAA here as well. I don't know whether she's a cataractor or she's an interactor, somewhere in between there. So today, my session is very simple for the guests. It's just to find people, make them pay in a friendly way, not in a bad way. And also a way to raise funds for the club and also have a bit of fun. So to start off, because I've been away and I haven't been on talking for a while, I want to welcome everybody and remind you of the four-way tests. We all know the four-way tests. So if you know that your video was off at any one time, then you are liable for a fine of $1. And because Prezo is a good man and I like him very much, he will pay double maximum for that one, because being a Prezo and his video was off, that's a crime. So Prezo will pay double maximum for putting off his video. But everybody on the call, if you know, including myself, I am also fighting myself. If you know that your video was off at any one time, then that is $1 right there.
For a bio break.
Yes, the rules of the game. She's rigging. The rules of the game are that your video should be on. So if you go for a bio break, you put a poster there, bio break. Then you know you have gone for a bio break. Or you write on the chat. But if you didn't do that, then that's $1 for all of us. So as many as are on the call, I think the only person who was doing very well until last minute was Muthoni, and she blundered. She was on throughout, but at the last minute she blundered. So let's do that one. But I'm tempted to exempt my wife because of obvious reasons, but I may be in trouble after this. But anyway, the four-way test applies, so she has to pay as well. Now, the other person that I want to find is Anthony Kija, our SAA. And the reason for finding Anthony is because of introducing Muthoni in a very professional way. And he did a fantastic job, and I congratulate him for that. And for that, he pays $1. Muthoni as well. Muthoni will pay $2 because she did a very good session, as usual, short, sweet, to the point. So she has to pay $1 for that excellent job. It's just a form of recognition. Then the other person that I want to find is Pipi Lucy. She always has a perfect background. I think she has one of the best backgrounds I've ever seen on Zoom. So for that reason, Pipi Lucy, $1. Then the other one that I want to find is the Prezo quote for the Rotaract Club, because it's being inducted on Saturday. And I mean, I just feel like finding him just $1 for that, because now it's the official thing. It's his day and everything. So I think he needs to pay $1 for this.
Yeah.
So I think that is it on my side as the SAA. So we are going to move on to Happy Dollars.
Okay, thank you, SAA IPP Fred. That's a long one, SAA IPP, but you've handled it well. So far, you've managed to raise 2,700 in fines. which is a record. It is a record in terms of fines. And I'm happy to note that today, all the Rotarians on call took up SAA Anthony Kinja's challenge last week, whereby he implored us to always identify ourselves. I think that's a good thing. All of us today, we're having the caption Rotarian, President this and all that from the clubs. It makes it also easier to, it also makes it easier to acknowledge the, the guests on the Zoom call. You have earned that pin, so wear it with pride. All right, now it's time for happy dollars. Those were just fines, very friendly fines, I must say. The happy dollars, the floor is open for the happy dollars. The happy dollars, I think I'll go first. I want to give 3 happy dollars. The first one to our guest speaker today, that's PM Muthoni. The second one to all of us for at least, coming on board to support this initiative. Incidentally, this initiative should just not be left to the Environment Committee. No, it's for the entire club and it's huge. And all hands on deck. I talked to President Quote. He promised to rope in the Rotaractors so that anytime we're needed on the ground, he'd be bringing the support team together. So thank you so much. So any other happy dollars? I think the other 2 happy dollars, of course, one to the club and one for our guests for joining us from Celebrate, Thika Road, and Mount Elgon. So let's proceed with the happy dollars before we close.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, so 4 happy dollars from me. 1 for the speaker, Muthoni, although I was a bit late, and then 2 for the guest, and 1 for everybody else who made it to the meeting.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rotarian Mary.
Yes, I'll give 2 happy dollars. One to the Muthoni for the very informative session, and the other one is to thank all the members who have paid for installation, and those who have not paid, please pay up and then meet you on Saturday. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
Any other?
Yes, happy dollars from me.
Mm-hmm.
3. Now that I have 2 fines, I'm giving 3 happy dollars. One of them is because of the fines and the good work that IPP Fred has done on fining me. The other one is for the presentation from PE Muthoni. Fantastic, very detailed and well informative. And thirdly, because of this project, I mean, it's huge, it's humongous and exciting. Actually, with the few visits we've done to the Calexo, to Masi, I think it's truly a lot of fun. Actually, it's not just planting trees, even bonding as Rotarians and getting to know one another, even from other Rotary clubs. It was fun. At least the trip that we did to Masi was extremely fine. So yes, those are the 3 happy dollars.
Thank you, PP Lucy. Any more happy dollars?
I will also give 3 happy
I'm
dollars.
going to give a happy.
Okay, who will go first?
So the first one is to the club for doing a great job. The second one is to the clubs that are working with Gigiri, that is Nairobi East and Nairobi South. And the last one is actually to PP Lucy, because she has mentioned going to Masi. I must share with the club that day, there was a hole that was so big. I don't know who dug it. She literally got in. She had to be fished out by Tito, and she came back out. So yes, my 3 happy dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 happy dollars over here. 1 to the guest speaker, 2 to the environment committee, and that to all of us. Good night.
Proceed.
President, $3 happy from me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You've got a new IPP, Fred?
Yeah, 1 for Muthoni for a good presentation. And 2 for the club.
Okay. All right, any more happies going once? Second call for the happies. And the last call. Well, thank you.
I have a happy present.
Okay, plus a fine also.
sorry for that. Nice presentation from Muthoni, Muthoni, and looking forward to seeing you people on Saturday. See you.
Okay, so that's one happy, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, CP Melvis.
Prezo? Prezo?
Yeah, proceed. Only proceed.
I have $2 happy.
All right.
All of them go to Muthoni today for our presentation.
All right. Thank you so much. I can see $3 happy from Rotarian Washeke, Nairobi Celebrate. Thank you for that. Incidentally, maybe someone could just post our pay bill number on the chat so that our guests can know where to pay their happy dollars and also their fines. I've seen $3 happy from Rotarian Washeke from Nairobi Celebrate. Okay, that brings our happy dollars total to 2,700. Our fines were 2,700. That is how much? 54. That is 54. We have equaled again the contributions from last week. So thank you so much, everyone, for your happies. Thank you for paying the fines. Thank you for joining us. We do this every Thursday from 7 to 8. We always post it in the groups, and thank you for joining us. So this brings us to the end of our fellowship, and I'd like to recognize the presence of our sister clubs and which joined us today, which I'll honor them with a toast. So if you have a drink in front of you, you can just raise your glass, raise your cup, raise your mug, raise your bottle. If you don't have a drink in front of you, you could simply put your right hand, cross it over your left chest, and together with the Rotary Club of Nairobi Celebrate, the Rotary Club of Nairobi Thika Road, Rotary Club of Mount Elgon, the Rotaract Club of Nairobi Gigiri, I give you Rotary the world over. All right, and the meeting is officially closed. The social can continue. Otherwise, it's good night from Rotary Club of Nairobi Gigiri, and see you again next Thursday, same time. Good night, guys.
Good night, thank you.
All right.
Good night, Mr. President.
Night.
Good night, Prezo.